putting together a Next.js project which is for showing photos in a series of albums. So I'm just going to talk about where it's at now and what I still need to do to finish it, and some of the challenges I've been facing. But to begin with, let me just give you a quick introduction to how it works. So here you see the pages, which are like the albums, and if you click on them, it goes to the posts. Each album has a series of photos, so I can click on these and cycle between them. Yeah, and then if I also log in, currently I wasn't logged in. I was just seeing it as somebody on the internet who isn't logged in, right? So if I now just log in, that will give me some more options. So I can edit the page. In this case, the dashboard. I can edit the dashboard, so I can change the title, and it automatically updates the URL when I save it, which is cool. I can delete pages, which happens quite quickly, and I can add new pages. I can add a thumbnail. I just choose one at random. I can make the page private or not, so if it's private, only the person logged in can see it. And then, just with some optimistic UI, it takes a little bit of time to load. Okay, so it's loaded, and now I can go off edit mode, click on the page, and I can start making posts. So let's just chuck some posts in. Seems to be some error going on there. Right, and so a lot of what I've been working on recently is just trying to make everything feel faster and feel more responsive. So you see, if I go back, it temporarily shows a loading page. This loading page. Before, you would press the button and it wouldn't do anything for 2 seconds. So with that loading page, it can go to that instantaneously, and I can edit that to show like a sort of skeleton preview of the page itself. But what I've been trying to fix just in the past couple of days is this kind of annoying, difficult problem of prefetching. So you notice if I go on the image show and I cycle between the images, if I go really fast, it starts to blur the image. No, it didn't actually, because they're cached. If I cycle between the images very quickly, it will start to you'll start to see blur images. Okay. No, actually that's still pretty good. Okay, so if I go on a new browser, it's not going to be cached. There you go, it's not cached, so it's blurry, and then it loads, and then if you click on the next one currently, it's instantaneous. But if you go fast, then it's blurry again. Okay, so before, it was blurry every time you loaded the next image. But what I have been able to implement is prefetching. So when you're on an image like this, it'll prefetch the next one and the previous one, and it does this by like loading the image in a 1 pixel by 1 pixel wide box, which is like 1,000 pixels off the screen, of the previous and the next image. But this was a great difficulty to implement because of the way that I'm loading the images, because I'm using Cloudflare. The images are stored in Cloudflare, and then it's a Next.js project, and I'm using the Next.js image loader, that's the full image. Okay, so this is the image tag, and it takes the source, which is in this case post.thumbnail, which is a thumbnail, or which is a URL that links to the Cloudflare storage object. And the thing is, for the prefetching to work of the next and the previous image, those images need to be cached in the browser's cache. And the way that works is the URL for that image is cached, is saved, and then when the next load happens, it checks whether the URL which is searched for is already in the cache somewhere, and if the preload was successful, then the image URL is in the cache, so the new load will find that. But it wasn't working. I tried so many times, and it just wasn't working properly, because you can go into the network tab if you inspect, and then go to network, and then if you cycle between them. Okay, so you see two images are loaded. That's basically the first one and the next one. And then when I press to the next one, just one image was loaded. Then I press to the next one, just one image was loaded. And you see the one that's loaded is actually the next one. So you see it in the bottom right, and it's that one. Okay. So that demonstrates that the prefetching is working, because only the next one is being loaded. And problem is, before, when I was testing it, every time you cycled to the next image, that image and the previous and the next were being loaded, all three of them. So that wasn't working. And I later discovered that the reason for that is that the URL has to be exactly matching. So the URL that's in the cache has to exactly match the URL which is being looked for. And the Next.js image tag is kind of a clever image loader. And it actually does something where it doesn't just load like one image. It loads it gives you the URLs. It generates the URLs for a series of images of different sizes, in case you can load a smaller image to make the page load faster. So it doesn't unnecessarily load very large images for a small window. And so it does this thing where it creates what's called an SRC set, source set, which is basically a list of URLs which correspond to different sizes of images to be loaded with Cloudflare. And then it checks if any of those different sizes of images those URLs are already in the cache, and if one of them is, or it's not that if one of them is if the one that is selected for the right size of window is there. So it generates the list, and then it picks one, says I'm going to display that one, and then it checks if that one is already in the cache. The problem is the prefetched image URLs which are in the cache didn't match the one that the image tag was choosing. And so the fix for this was to use a custom Cloudflare loader. Get Cloudflare URL. And get Cloudflare URL takes a specific width, and then it gives you the URL corresponding to that width of image. Okay. And then the trick was to correctly calculate the width that would be chosen by the image tag using this code, which was generated by ChatGPT. And then it gives these options, supported widths, and it picks the right the right one somehow. I haven't actually looked at it closely yet. It just works. Yeah, so that works, and so the images do kind of load quickly. Just if you cycle quickly and they're not already cached, then you get the blur effect. And so the next thing that I want to implement is there's lots of things I want to implement to this general project, but I want to make it so like two images ahead and 2 images behind are cached. Just so if you're like cycling through and you stop on one, look at it for a while, and then you'd flip to the next one and then quickly flip to the next one, then in that case the second one will already be cached by lingering on the previous one. Because at the moment, if you do that, if you look at one for a while and then quickly flip between 2, then you get the blur effect if it's loading. Like, actually, it's pretty good. There you go. So one, yeah. So you see the blur there. And then the next thing is I want to prefetch the first 3 images. So when you load the page at first and then you click on the first one, it doesn't show any blur. It just immediately comes up. Among other things, that's one of the many things that I have to do. I have a list here of things to do. Yeah, randomize colors, because you can change the colors if you're logged in. Let me show you. Yeah, so whatever colors you like, and then when you go on a page, it loads the same colors and saves to the database. Yeah, so I want to have a button where you press it and it randomly generates some colors, so you can see what you might like. Anyway, I'll leave it there and give you an update in the future about how it's going. And if you want to make an account, you can join the waitlist just by going to actually this is localhost, but if you go to volvox.pix. There you go. So that's on the internet now. You can join the waitlist.